Governor Hickenlooper's first pardon in his 6 years in office is an attempt today to spare Rene Lima-Marin from deportation to Cuba. And it raises questions about whether Governor Hickenlooper will use his pardon power to prevent other pending deportations. And we'll surely be hearing about all of the rehabilitated felons seeking pardons who are American citizens and who wonder if the governor will show them the same mercy. To Lima-Marin's case, he became a cause celeb with state legislators, Republican and Democrat, along with many in the media. Sympathy ran high when he was mistakenly released early, went out to start a family and stay out of trouble for years, only to get pulled back to prison. A judge ordered him freed this week, and then ICE swept in to deport him. He was a felon who came here fleeing Cuba as a child. ICE says it has a final order to deport Lima-Marin, but his attorney seemed cautiously optimistic this afternoon that they can reopen his case and have him freed now.
From here, we get in touch with ICE as well as their attorneys and see if we can work together to reopen the case, because given the full and unconditional pardon, we should be able to reopen Rene's immigration proceedings and put him back into his status as a resident, which would allow him to go home.
It is impossible to separate the politics from the practical implications of this decision today. The first and the fiercest critic of the pardon is District Attorney George Brockler, who's seeking the Republican nomination for governor. It was his district that prosecuted Lima-Marin back in 2000. And today his office quickly provided what they labeled a trophy photo of Lima-Marin and his co-defendant posing with weapons and cash after a string of video store robberies. DA Brockler suggested that pardoning Lima-Marin ahead of the 100-plus other people requesting a pardon of Governor Hickenlooper amounted to a photo op. The governor was asked today whether he will be issuing a second pardon or a third pardon to some rehabilitated ex-con who's an American citizen.
Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we will have there will be other news for people who have requested pardons for. And again, in almost all these early cases, there are people that are have done the same kind of work. They've recreated their lives.
So now what's next for Lima-Marin is likely a legal fight with ICE, as we see just how strongly the Trump Justice Department wants to hold on to that judge's original order to send him to Cuba now that there's a pardon. Well, for all of the attention on the topic of a special session lately, the news of the pardon today meant the special session was just a side note when Governor Hickenlooper announced he would not be calling legislators back to talk about transportation funding. Not the first time the governor has threatened that and ultimately decided not to reconvene the ledge. I appreciate everyone who has said that our coverage of drug use and crime out in the open at Denver's main library has painted too dark of a picture. But today, even Mayor Hancock admitted he would not feel comfortable taking his kids there. So hopefully we can all agree that there is an issue, and now we can start talking solutions. Jeremy Hohola from our 9 Wants to Know team continues that conversation with the mayor.
Real quick, I just want to show you some of the screen grabs from that story, what we saw in the library. We saw people using heroin outside of the library. I saw multiple drug deals around the library.
What is that? Swords. Oh, okay. Meth?
This woman was shooting up just outside of the front door.
We know that in this city we have, and all over this country, we have an opiate epidemic that's taking place. There's no need to hide from it.
For 10 minutes, Mayor Michael Hancock spoke with us just after releasing the city's new strategy to curb homelessness in Denver. A 30-point action plan that focuses on job training, health, and housing for the homeless.
It's certainly a tough, challenging circumstance to deal with, Mayor. Is it fair, though, that librarians are having to deal with this?
Libraries are a very unique space. They're open to everyone. You know, the whole society is dealing with this issue. I appreciate your story, but, you know, your story is a story we're dealing with every day, and we're trying to find a way to help these individuals, and that's why, if you look at the resources we're allocating, is to get to the heart of this.
What do you say to parents who saw our story and they're going to say, I'm not going to go down there?
Right.
I'm not going to take my kids down there because of what I see.
Jeremy, I don't blame them. If, you know, my children were small and still going in and out of that library, I wouldn't want to take them down there either. I certainly get it. But our job is to fix it, and that's what we're trying to do. We've been doing it before you ran your story.
We asked 9 News viewers to share their thoughts about the state of the library. Hundreds of emails came in. We dropped them off at the mayor's office when he was out of town.
I dropped off some comments at your office, and I know you've been busy. Have you had a chance to go through?
I haven't even been in the office yet.
Okay. Can I read some of the comments that we got from viewers? And this won't take long, and then we're almost done here. These are human beings and they deserve our love and compassion. Libraries, like schools, should be a no-drug safe zone. The downtown library used to be a wonderful place. The problems they are experiencing are caused by illegal homeless sweeps. People who are obviously drunk or high shouldn't be allowed in, period. What's your reaction to some of those
My reaction
comments?
is yes, all of society, including your viewers, my constituents. I'm upset, my staff's upset, the library staff's upset, should be upset with this.
While the city says it's focused on a big long-term plan to curb drug use and homelessness, many of you told us you want something done at the library now.
We want to know, what is the short-term plan to address crime at the library right now, though?
Well, our police department is already on it. The commander of the district has already moved in and providing more resources. But the goal right now is to step up patrols and attention inside the library, in and around the library as well.
How soon can we see an improvement there at the library, then?
Well, as soon as we can convince people that there are better opportunities for them than to be around there. But again, we're dealing with very sick people.
Jeremy did see more police patrolling the library today. The city's promising additional security officers, and 2 drug arrests were made at the library just today. Street sweepers were back out in Denver following their snow day yesterday. The city, we should mention, doesn't ticket for street sweeping on the days that it doesn't actually sweep. And the sweeper drivers spent yesterday driving various loads for the city. And there is a sign that some cannot obey the street sweeping signs, even if they want to. And we do hope that the Yellow Ticket Patrol took mercy on the poor car owner we came across in Cap Hill. Left out a polite plea. Please don't give me a ticket. My car won't start. Thanks. I'm going to reset my mouth and we will carry on here. So I learned today that I am at risk of losing my job. Like any moment now, I could get sent packing. And I was super grateful to Westward Magazine for giving me a heads up in its article on 15 local news anchors in Denver likely to be forced out by cost cutting. But then I read the article and realized that it was just unsourced speculation. It was meaningless clickbait. So here I am, no closer to knowing when I'm going to be forced out of the job. Thanks, clickbait.
You know, Kyle, there is a lot of garbage on the internet, true time wasters. You've probably clicked on a link or two, got to the end of an article and thought, that was not what I expected. They call it clickbait, an appetizing headline followed by a letdown of an article. Let me get in the spirit. You'll never believe what a college student in Boulder is doing to fight it. What this aerospace engineering student at CU does in his apartment will shock you.
So I was like, what happens if we go against the economy of the internet?
Daniel Tuttle has figured out a must-see way to battle clickbait.
On Facebook, you'll see tons of huge pages posting these very meticulous articles saying, you'll never believe what happens when this woman stepped outside, or 13 useless facts that will make your day better.
Instead, he has one surefire way to save you time. All right, enough of that. It's his Facebook page, Stop Clickbait. Tuttle and a few other volunteers actually click the ridiculous headlines.
He brings his girlfriend to the hospital to deliver quintuplets, but gets a huge surprise instead.
They read the article, give you the answer, which is sometimes a letdown.
She wasn't pregnant.
This one's my favorite. He thought it was Bigfoot's skull. Then experts told him this.
It's just a rock.
A clickbait spoiler. Tuttle's little Facebook page that started with a few friends grew.
Our audience is huge. We've had 50 million impressions over the last year just on the main page. And that's arguably a lot of clicks saved.
Like the 53 clicks it would have taken you to find out that Macaulay Culkin's net worth is $15 million, according to this article. Stop Clickbait's next step is a browser extension that launches sometime in the next few weeks. If it goes according to plan, you can install it and it will find clickbait on any website you watch, and will give you a crowdsourced explanation to help you decide whether or not to click.
From green to white in a day, in a picture, a new view of the storm. Snow's done, here comes the cold, but there's a weekend forecast that will renew our will to live. He's fishing without a hook, without waders. He caught our attention all right. Next.
Yeah, that storm moved in fast, didn't it? Check out the difference that 2 days made in Estes Park. May 17th, Wednesday, nice and green, blue skies. You know, get out, take a hike. Oh, nope, abort the hike. May 19th, today, a blanket of white. Hope that you have snowshoes if you want to be out there. It looks like a totally different scene. Speaking of scene, has anybody seen Mary White's pickup truck? She lives in Bellevue, near Roosevelt National Forest, about 30 miles west of Fort Collins. She noted that her patio furniture was buried yesterday morning. Doesn't bother me because you can't even see it, but you also can't find her truck in the photo. Look closely now. There it is on the right. It's a Toyota Tundra, so it's not a small truck either. Mary says they got about 4 feet of snow in Bellevue, although the dog Gypsy would have hoped for even more.
Hi there, meteorologist Kathy Sabin. The weekend is just about here, hours away now. And are you headed to the high country? Well, travel in and out of the mountains improving by the hour. In Denver, the great thaw has begun, and everything just looks so green. Wait till the sun comes out tomorrow morning. A beautiful day on the way and a whole lot warmer. Our high today at 39, well below where we should be. We're typically in the 70s this time of year. Our storm is tracking east, and it's going to be a bear for storms that produce tornadoes around Oklahoma City, Wichita, down to the Dallas area. Heavy rain, and there'll be some wind and lightning as well. Still raining on the eastern plains, but the snow winding down in the high country. Flow out of the northwest. That's drier air, and that's basically going to help skies clear. As skies clear with light winds, temperatures will drop like a rock, and that means some cold temperatures coming up with the snow cover. We are under a freeze warning tonight. The low moves east. Skies will remain mostly sunny for the majority of your weekend, but a little tiny bit of moisture upstream will translate to a late day thunderstorm both Saturday afternoon and again on Sunday. But for the metro area, other than the really cold temperatures we're expecting tonight, it looks amazing for the next few days. So 29 in the city tonight with clearing skies. Tomorrow, sunshine. We'll see a nice rebound, almost 60 in the city. 30% chance of late day storms on Sunday and a nice warming trend. We're back into the 70s and 80s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. So Mary will be able to find her truck, and it'll probably be awfully clean. How great is this shot in southern Colorado?
Kathy, thanks. A sparkling spot in Denver's jazz scene is dimming, just for a while. Today was the last day at Dazzle Restaurant and Lounge at 9th and Lincoln. The jazz club's moving to 15th and Curtis into the Bowers building downtown. They'll have about double the space there for 200 people. It'll have 3 stages, an acoustic room, but it won't be the classic Dazzle.
It's a bittersweet day for me because there have been so many monumental occasions here on this very stage. Can you imagine moving out of your own home? And this has been home.
Oh, his voice. How about that? Dazzle Jazz Club was going to reopen in that new building June 1st.
Then let the fly float downstream.
No trophy fish for this guy. There's not even a hook on his line. His prize is something else entirely. And we go looking for good news and new life after this week's storm. Next.
A big fish that gets off the line ruins the day for some. For others, that's the whole point. We meet a different kind of angler through the lens of our Reno Boyd.
I'm going fly casting. Cast the flies, see what'll happen. Not fishing. Some people think I'm crazy because they think the point of fishing is to catch a fish. A good day is when I have had stressful things at the office and I can come up here and stand knee-deep in the water and watch the way the water flows and think about where the fish might be and think about how to get the fly just put into the right spot. And it is impossible for me to think about that waiting email that I have to answer. See if we can confuse any fish. Perfect. My fly right here has no hook on it. I can just run my hand down past the fly, and it is impossible for it to hook my fingers. It's impossible for it to hook a fish. It's a little ball of fluff on a piece of metal, but there is no hook, no barb. It is simply something to float down the stream. I've been fly casting like this for about 20-some years, 20 years or so since we moved to Colorado. And I remembered that I liked being out on the stream and that I didn't like catching fish. So that this was a way of taking what I liked and getting rid of what I didn't like. sort of a liberating moment to clip the hook off the fly, to think that there's another fish that will never feel that pain. And I can't remember if the initiative on that was because I didn't want to catch fish or I didn't want to have a fishing license. Because according to the laws of Colorado, fishing is when you're using a hook to try and catch a fish. And I have no hook, and I have no intention to catch a fish, so I'm not fishing. I'm fly casting. Where is it? I do not own a pair of waders. I'm not that serious about it. And yeah, it's a real deepening of the experience to be knee-deep in this water. That first step in is a real shock. There we go. This is a wet fly, so it's floating down below the surface, and yeah, I could have had fish paying attention to it that I never saw. I was out a few weeks ago and cast in just in the swirl behind a rock and saw this little silver flash come and grab at the fly, and I said, yes, that's what I tried to get. Just fine that it went away. I would love to see the trophy fish swimming around in one of those deep pools and rising up to take my fly. Knowing that the fish are there, knowing that they're paying attention to my fly is a marvelous addition to the day. But it would be a horrible thing for me if I actually caught one of those fish and had to try and remove it gently from a hook and put it back into the water. That's no fun at all.
Don't you love the people who do life different? The most Colorado thing we saw today is a family that truly plays together in the mountains. John and Raquel saw them headed west on I-70 past Floyd Hill. There's the big off-road vehicle for the adults. There's the little Jeep for the younger ones. I think everybody's getting muddy today, and that is the most Colorado thing we saw today. It is Friday, so we'll head out in search of your good news, and then your feedback for balance. Next. What's news on the news isn't always what's news in your real life. It's why we carve out time each Friday to ask you about your good news. After the snowstorm, we went to a garden store.
Love being able to come to work here every day and see all the color. We are very thankful that we have heat in the greenhouses today. Our boiler went out overnight, so thankfully the building kept its heat.
I am thankful that my husband and I procrastinated and didn't even turn on our sprinkler system yet, so we can do that next week.
My daughter's graduating 8th grade and getting ready to have a great summer and looking forward to high school, and that's very exciting.
We left really good jobs in Texas to move up here to be close to our first 2 grandchildren, but we don't regret it for a minute because it's great being around them and being in a new place and all the fun stuff to do up here in Colorado. It's been great.
Feedback now. Good number of folks upset with Governor Hickenlooper's decision to grant a pardon to Rene Lima-Marin to avoid his deportation. Amy Cronin, Jim King writing in, why are you promoting bad behavior, making a mockery of our laws? If you know someone who is waiting for a possible pardon, we would like to hear from them. Hear their story on Next. You know how to get in touch with us. Although somebody noted Kathy Isaac, Governor stole Kyle's jacket. We saw the same thing as well. He was rocking the plaid today. I would hope that our love for a loud jacket could be nonpartisan, right, people? See you next time.